Hello, welcome to the Round 18 preview as the Blues are set to take on the Western Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium on Saturday afternoon, the 4:35 p.m. time slot. Wow, so much is happening this week. We are coming off a timely reminder. A loss to the Giants, a timely reminder about how tough it is to win in the competition and how tough it is to win consistently, I think, in the competition. 5 straight wins, some great performances, 5 of the best performances for the season, followed by a loss. And yeah, I think the hope is more than anything that it's just a little bit of a fire starter just to keep things level, stay grounded, stay humble, because like we said last week, the minute you think you've made it, the minute you think you've reached the mountaintop, it's a dangerous place. Comfort is a dangerous place. I don't know exactly the ins and outs of what happened last week. I mean, it was just a loss. We lost a game of footy. But I think, looking at what's important, and that is making sure that the synergy is as close to perfect as possible in the lead up to finals, making sure the collective mentality is where it needs to be as we push to the finality of this season. It's just crucial that the lessons are learned and the focus is there, and that's what this week has to be, just a response. Making sure all those extras are done, all the boxes are ticked. It is a bit of a different week. We'll touch on Patrick Cripps and his 200th game, which really when it first came up that it was, we've been sort of counting it down for the last few weeks now here on the channel. But really when I sat down and thought about filming this, and anytime I've thought about Cripps' 200th, it's a very rare occasion where a player's milestone just sort of smacks you in the face and forces you to realize, the nature, the finite nature of everything, a career, footy, form, life, everything's finite. And then, just reminding us to enjoy what we have while it's here. We're at I wouldn't say we're at the end of his career, but we're definitely closer to the end than what we are the beginning. And Cripper is a very unique part of the Carlton Football Club story because, he's one of our own, and he's come in from the draft. He's been with us the whole time. He's been through the, arguably, if not the worst period of the club's history. He's stuck fat. There's so much with him, and we have such an attachment to him, which is quite beautiful. And the emotions that are invoked when I think about Cripps is playing his 200th game. We recently saw Dustin Martin play his 300th game, and we saw the reception that the Richmond supporters gave him at the MCG. This is a side that's not doing very well at the moment, but obviously have forged themselves into the history books, forever, with a really dominant period of time. And to see the connection between the fans and a club, in honor of one particular individual is quite powerful. And I do believe Cripps has a very similar ability to gel the fans and the club because of what he's been able to do. He's been great for a long period of time, and the longevity is going to be a big part in his story. I remember the conversations. I still remember him wearing the 16. I remember the conversations around the beginning of his career and, the generational talent, like to have a midfielder that big being able to dominate the way he did, and the comparisons to the height with, Revolt and Wayne Carey and the like. So he's really a special part of the Carlton Football Club, and I hope that we get an incredible reception for him. And, footy's a team game, and I'm mindful of they talk about the preparation week to week. I hope that the hysteria doesn't take too much away from his preparation this week, but I really, really hope, and we all do, we really hope that we honour him with a win in his 200th game. It's an important milestone. He's already a great of the club in my eyes. And it's a special moment to just stop and reflect on a great part of the team. So that's happening. The Dogs I think they're finding their form again. I've watched them for the majority of the year. I've watched most of their games. They're a bit banged up. There were some questions asked earlier in the season. They seem to have answered those questions. They're playing a bit better. They've got their own champion in Bontempelli. They've got some really nice key position pieces. They've got some nice pieces all around, but I think they're coming along nicely. They're not as bad as what the stories were about them earlier in the season. I don't think they're also as great as what the stories are starting to be about them. We saw last week, anyone can beat anyone on any given day. So it's not a given, but I do look at this as a response for the Blues. And, we've got to realign and refocus. I think we are in a really interesting time. I think we now know that when we are fully focused for 4 quarters, nobody can beat us. When we have that laser sharp focus. That's where I'm at now. I think we're when it's there, obviously, when it wanes, it's really obvious. But when that laser sharp focus is there, and that's high performance and being able to do it for a long period of time, when it's there, I think we're at the top of the tree. We just got to get there, and we've got to find that focus consistently and keep building on it, and not take it for granted, because it's taken a long time to find the ability to have that confidence. So there's that. Team selection. If you take a step back and really think about it, this is one of the healthiest times that we've seen the list experience in a while. If you look at if you had to rank the 30 best players, I reckon 26 of them are fit and now available. Jack Martin's been upgraded to a test. Dave Cunningham's had a period of time in the VFL. He's fit. Jesse Motlop, the same, in form again. So you got Pitto, who's in form. You've got Marchbank, who's available, and so there's so many elements now. And I think this is a sweet spot. Our issues have, for the most part, been the unavailability of the list. Therefore, X, Y, and Z has to play. Now it's the availability of the list, and so what's the selection going to be? And that's a totally different conundrum for the coaching panel to be in, because any selection is going to be critiqued, and it's really important not to panic with selections that may result in a loss. So that's the balance this week. A lot of talk about the ruck. Is it 2? Is it 1? I don't know. It's almost impossible to really know. I can see the arguments on either side, to be honest. I truly can. I think there's a really strong case to make for Jesse Motlop to say he's ready. It's a new experience to have. Let's take the Jesse Motlop situation, for example. In years gone by, he's playing 3 weeks ago. So for him to really get back into the VFL, find the fitness, find the touch, find the form, and then all of a sudden, we haven't seen him all year. He's magic, and I've got such a strong belief in Jesse Motlop's ability. I think we all do. But to have him now hungry, in round 18 and potentially ready to come into the side and really sort of prove a point that, he is in the best version of this team, or the opportunity to do so anyway, is a great situation. Cunners, I saw the highlights of him in the 2s last week. That's the most engaged I've seen him in a while. Fit, sharp. Pitto, we're talking about a 25 possession, 33 hit out game. So it's just the pressure's there, and you're one bad game now away from potentially losing your spot. It's so cutthroat. I'm so fascinated to see the balance between backing in players to respond after a performance that wasn't at their best, and then sort of understanding that, hey, there's a someone else who's in form in the 2s who's coming to take your spot. So this is where we want to be. We want to be confused. I want to be confused as to who should come in and who shouldn't come in. This is exactly where I think we need to be in order to improve, because that true pressure will allow those in the side, to perform, and it'll just wean out the ones who are going to make it and the ones who aren't going to make the best version of this team. And it's tough. It's cutthroat. It's pressure. Everyone wants to be a part of, the starting 22 or the 23. Everyone wants to be on that team sheet for the team that breaks the premiership drought. Everyone wants to do it. So it's a true test of, who's going to be able to be good enough. So I'm really excited about that. What's my thought on who would come in? I don't even know, man. I think Motlop has been in the twos long enough now, and I think we finally have started to see some solid form from him across the four quarters to really push. Man, I don't know. What do you think? I think Motlop for sure is one. The fact that we had Hewitt, Pitto, and Marchbank named as emergencies last week, I think that says so much about where we're at as well. So, look, regardless, got to get a result this week. Got to keep our position. If we can hold firm and keep our top 2 spot, that gives us the best chance to winning the premiership. I believe that. But obviously, literally, you got to boil it down, like contest by contest, quarter by quarter. So that's that. What about you? What do you reflect on when I say, when we come and talk about Patrick Cripps? What comes to mind? What was your first memory of Patrick Cripps, and what do you think he truly stands for with this team and this club? Everyone's got a different memory bank and a different perspective. Some of you have seen the great leaders in the history of the club, and I've seen you compare. Some of you, this is a career that you're watching for the first time from start to finish. So interested to see your reflections on Patrick Cripps, and also this game. Share with us in the comments. We'll go from there. 50,000 at Marvel Stadium, I would have thought. I would have thought we'd be packing out that stadium on Saturday. Standing room, everything. And we'll go from there. Looking forward to it. Go Blues.